An unmissable Beat the Stylist follows the latest ITV News Summary with Katie Derham.
Hello. Tony Blair faces another crucial test of his party's popularity today, with voting underway in 2 by-elections. The results in what are traditionally safe Labour seats will be known tonight. It follows yesterday's Butler report, which found the intelligence which led us to the war in Iraq was seriously flawed. A cabinet meeting is now underway at 10 Downing Street to discuss the fallout. Labour's been forced to do a U-turn on the way it runs the railways, with a major shake-up being announced today. The heavily criticised Strategic Rail Authority, which it created during sweeping reforms, will now be replaced by a new agency, which will concentrate on reliability and punctuality. The British National Party is under investigation after some of its members confessed to committing racially motivated attacks. The revelations, to be broadcast in a documentary tonight, also show the party's leader Nick Griffin condemning Islam as a wicked, vicious faith. And we've confronted the Health Secretary with thousands of emails from ITV viewers complaining of the superbug scandal in our hospitals. The dossiers were delivered by 2 patients who caught the disease. You can hear what John Reid had to say in the Lunchtime News. Well, that's at 12:30, but before then, I'll be back with more headlines in about an hour. I do hope that you'll be able to join me then. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Dan Baker. Welcome to Central News. Rescue teams are resuming their search for an 84-year-old woman who's gone missing from her home. Renee Pepper was last seen at her home in Southall in Nottinghamshire at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning. A team of 50 from Mountain Rescue carried out searches in woodland around Southall yesterday, but found nothing of significance. Underwater search teams and the police helicopter will today be brought in as the search is stepped up. Officers are also looking at CCTV footage to establish Renee's last known whereabouts. Now, polling is underway in the crucial Leicester South by-election. The candidates were at the polling stations early today as the political parties began the last-minute push to get their supporters to vote. Labour had a majority of 13,000 at the last election. Today's by-election is seen as a test of the government's popularity following its handling of the Iraq issue. Many commentators believe a general election is just 10 months away. There are 11 candidates standing. Next, an international footballer has been charged with attempting to possess crack cocaine with intent to supply. Jamaican striker Amandi Lowe, who played for Rushden and Diamonds, was first arrested in April. He left the club in March and joined Coventry and was released by them at the end of the season. He and a 23-year-old woman from London are due before Wellingborough magistrates in Northamptonshire in August. Lowe has been granted bail. Football clubs are drawing up emergency plans to cope with a possible terrorist attack in crowded stadiums. Steve Lambden reports.
This is a demonstration of the sort of action fire and ambulance crews would have to take if there was a terrorist attack at a crowded football stadium. Most clubs admit it would be a nightmare scenario and that before this conference they weren't as prepared as they thought. But at Nottingham Forest, they've learned lessons from a different type of disaster.
What we've seen today is something that we've had in place for some time, and certainly since Hillsborough, we've been one of the leads on contingency plans.
Politicians say it's not a case of if something like this happens, but when, although it's not something football fans should be panicking about with the new season less than a month away.
Recently, we've had a special branch in to actually tell us what the perceived threat is, which I must say is not as great as we all thought it was, but nevertheless it is still there, so we have these plans obviously to cater for that.
The hope is our clubs have got their emergency plans right, but won't need to find out for real.
Almost 300 tonnes of rubbish have been cleared from a city's streets during the first half of its 100-day clean-up campaign. Officials say they've received more than 1,000 calls from people reporting problems in their area, as Phil Brewster reports.
Graffiti, rubbish and abandoned and burnt-out vehicles are a blight on communities and a mess which damage the quality of life for people. Nottingham City Council is determined to tackle the problem. Last month it started its 100-day clean-up campaign. It's now reached its halfway point and officials say it's having a big impact. They've received more than 1,000 calls from people highlighting a range of problems, including fly tipping and graffiti. Workers have removed and scrapped 51 abandoned cars, collected 27 dumped fridges and cleaned up almost 2,000 square metres of graffiti. That's the equivalent of 8 tennis courts. As well as cleaning up the mess, the council's planning on-the-spot fines for those dropping litter and the introduction of surveillance cameras to catch fly tippers and fly posters. At the end of the campaign, officials are also planning to take those messing up the city to court. Bill Brewster, Central News.
Now, thousands of women have taken part in one of the biggest cancer research fundraising events in the country. Many took part in last night's Race for Life to honour loved ones who've suffered from the disease, as Yasmin Collins reports.
Running for research. More than 3,500 women grabbed hold of their trainers to raise money for Cancer Research UK at Nottingham's Trent Embankments. Many took up the challenge after seeing their friends and relatives battle against the disease.
We're sisters, and we have a sister that's got cancer at the moment. She's fighting it very well indeed, and we just wanted to support it and to raise money so that other people don't have to go through what she has to go through.
I had an operation for breast cancer in March, and my treatment has just been so amazing, and I just felt I wanted to do something.
I'm here because it's a really good cause, and I'm running for a little girl who's 7 who's got brain tumour.
Organisers are hoping to raise over £200,000 just from last night's 5-kilometre race. The event is part of a summer of fundraising for the cancer charity here in the East Midlands. A record 4,000 women took part in a race at Weston Park in Leicester on Sunday. Our very own Mari Ashby and Sarah Teal were among the thousands of women who took part in the latest run. Organisers of Race for Life say they're hoping to raise a massive £20 million this year for cancer research. Yasmin Collins, Central News.
Fantastic. Well, it's time now for a look at the weather, and it's St Swithin's Day today, and apparently if it rains today, that means it'll rain for the next 40 days and 40 nights. Well, fingers crossed. Here's the forecast.
Central weather with BMIBaby.com.
A cloudy, murky start to today, getting brighter in some parts later, but scattered showers lingering in the north of the region. Feeling humid with highs for today of 20 degrees Celsius. And it'll stay mainly cloudy tonight with some light showers in parts. There'll be a gentle southwesterly wind with temperatures overnight dipping to around 12 degrees Celsius.
Central weather with BMIBaby.com, the airline with tiny fares.
Oh dear, that's it for now. Our next bulletin's at 10 to 1. That's part of the ITV Lunchtime News. Until then, from all the team, have a good morning. Bye-bye.